What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another edition of On the Road to Victory. I am your host, Jimmy Smith, and I hope you're all having yourselves a great Tuesday night. We are here, and we're here for a terrible Tuesday because, we haven't lost another one. 3 in a row. The Eagles lose to the Seahawks last night, and I'm still reeling from it, still trying to just really take it all in that, the defense stepped up this game. I thought, hey, Matt Patricia doing some things with some of these younger guys. I was excited. We're going to talk about all those things tonight, but they give up that drive at the end to Drew Lock, 92 yards. Wow. Just unbelievable, man. The offense, you see how much talent they have and just how stagnant it's been. And yeah, we talk about, Hurts having a new system again, not having that same system he had finally with Steichen. And we go to the Super Bowl when he finally has a system for the first time back-to-back years since high school. So it's just so much going on that, I just don't. We're going to talk about it here tonight. So I hope you're all enjoying yourselves, enjoying the holiday season. I was out. It's pure chaos at every damn mall, every store we were at. It just, my Lord. But hope you're all doing well. Appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate you hitting that like button. I would love to hear your thoughts, what you feel is going on here. How can we fix things? That's what we're going to talk about tonight. But if you have any thoughts, you have, it's doom and gloom for you, whatever is on your mind, I want to hear from you. And we're going to talk about all of it tonight. Totally understand that some people, feel, things are definitely over and, certain things, this, that, the other. For me, it's not over, but, I'm seeing some outrageous things out there, whether it be we got to get rid of Hurts, the Howie stuff, the Sirianni. Look, Sirianni, first coach, Eagles history, back-to-back years. We get this. Nope. Okay. My phone going off there. My apologies. So, look, I just getting off track here. Let me see what's going on with the comments. The chaos of what people are saying out there. I can't, man. I can't. Look, I'm pissed off too. I don't like to see this team. I think that should be winning the Super Bowl playing like a pure ass. So, let's talk about it, man. Let me know what you're hearing, what you're feeling, whatever's on your mind. But yo, Christian, my man, hope you're doing all right out there. Dude, I'm trying to just be like, it's the holiday season, enjoying time with family, right? Really just trying to overlook the fact that I'm just so pissed off about this game. And honestly, I was out today and I saw this guy the other day. I was buying something, of course, Eagles related. And the guy that was at the counter, he saw me again today. And he was just like, I'm like, dude, I don't even want to talk about it. And then, of course, started talking about it. And I just, man. Yo, Samuel, my dude, appreciate you guys taking the time here tonight. And Rodsman, dude, appreciate you taking the time as well. And brother, driving me insane. So look, we're fans of the team. All we can do is root our team on. But when there are issues, we're going to talk about it. And we talked about it last night. We're going to talk about it here tonight. But, there's no reason to abandon ship. We got to trade Hurts. We got to get rid of and I've been saying this for years. I can't stand it. But everybody tells me oh, nobody's saying that stuff. I'm like, dog, they're going crazy. And I think people are finally seeing what I've been talking about. And dude, it is pure chaos out there, but I know exactly what you meant. And look, you see, I saw today, we've got people going after the players again, and the players are responding. And, here's my thing about that. If you are going to go after the players, which I think is ridiculous, I don't know what you expect. People, you should be off Twitter. Dude, these are human beings. They're not literally training every second of every day. Most of the time they are. These are professionals and they're allowed to live their lives. But going after them, tagging them and stuff, or just talking crap about them. Look, man, you could feel a certain way and break things down, show stats, break down game tape. But the certain things, that way people are saying things to these guys, calling them trash cans, doing things, just I understand why they're getting annoyed. And it's look, man, this is a new era. I grew up different, man, but this is how it is. They have social media. They see this stuff. They want to, let you know if you're a bandwagon jumper, if you're, a flip flopper, they're going to call you out now. And I think it's hilarious. But for me, it's look, man, I try to show these guys support when I can. And if they're not doing good, we're going to talk about cap details of how we can get rid of them. We can talk about, all the things with the young guys stepping in. That's what this show is about. And each day, each week, each year, we do this where we're breaking down if we're heading in the right direction, wrong direction, how we get heading in the right direction. So that's what this show is about. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Look, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I love my birds. And, when we're down, it sucks. It's a much different conversation we're having. We're not all, hey, it's much different. But look, what I try to do here is just have a good conversation with you guys where we talk about what's going on and how we can fix these issues. And right now, that is where we're at. And I didn't want to get back here because it was nice being on top of the mountain. But look, we've talked about the issues all year. And, something needed to change. Unfortunately, Desai gets made the scapegoat, but that move worked. And this defense has shown throughout the year that they can do things. Obviously, the last drive, they didn't. You really would love to have Slay back, but Bradbury getting picked on there. And it's just, that's why we talked about those young guys getting playing time. And it looks like, thank God they did. And let's keep that going on. But I don't think we need to fire our DC. Well, that's the thing, and I agree with you 100%, Christian. And that's something I've talked about. The Eagles aren't going to do that right now because then you're like, dude, teams that do that, that means, oh, crap, things are going in the wrong direction. What we did was, when Sean Desai is still the defensive coordinator, now he's still going to act that way, practice and do his thing. But Matt Patricia on game days is going to be calling plays. He'll be on the field, Desai in the box like you saw on TV. They showed him a couple of times. He's going to be, getting a different viewpoint. And maybe that's what we needed. And obviously, we've talked about this. Dude, it's on the players and it's on the coaches. It's a mixture of everybody, man. People not executing. And even you want to go to Howie and, Jeffrey Lurie. That's why I put him there, man. You got to start at the top. You want to start blaming people. We got to keep it real with ourselves. I think that this is already happening where, Lurie, Howie, they're like, look, man, you need to be doing something here, Nick, to make some changes. We're way too talented to be putting out this kind of product on the field. And dude, you see it with the defense, but now the offense still struggling. And look, no changes are going to be made. They said that last week, and then you saw a change made. So who knows what could come? But we've talked about this. We've got guys in house here that could do the play calling. You've got Kevin Patullo here, who I think would be the next best candidate if it's not going to be Sirianni, because Patullo has done it before. I think Jason Michaels, the tight end coach there, Jason Michael, he has been a play caller before. So you've got other options, but I don't think they want to take that away from him. And I think at times Brian Johnson has shown, I think he's gotten kind of a rough spot where people, just blame it all on him, where, a lot of times you got to realize Nick Sirianni is the one game planning throughout the week. He's the one, scheming things up. Like he's the one coming up, devising these plans where they're not working and, we're adjusting in the second half. But why? Why can't we just come out and whoop people's ass like we did last year? So really it starts with the head coach there. And, obviously Brian Johnson, a lot of times play calling is very questionable, but also big question mark within that is, Jalen Hurts. Is he the one calling these plays? And I think, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, you have another system here and you're kind of messing up. And, it's, Jalen Hurts is regressing. I guess in a sense, yes, because the system is regressing. What's going on is, regression because we tried too much for this, like one read. Let's hit the home run. These other routes we've got are going to take away, open things up for AJ Brown all the time, every single play. Like, no, man, defense is kind of know you're trying to do that. So look, if they see certain play and they want to go for it, he's one-on-one, they're attacking, and they're not attacking the zone in the middle. I don't know what we're doing. I don't, man, it kills me at times because I saw the one, it's like a meme, or, our Madden play calls. And dude, it's the truth. Like the same RPO running or you're passing, like, and dude, it is too much for me that it's way too predictable. And we talk about getting motion, doing things, and they did a little bit of that again this week, a little bit more than last week. We talked about they're trying, but they're just not. They don't know what to do. Like it concerns you when you look at other teams around the league that like don't have what we have here, and then you see what we're putting on the field. Like, why can't we be doing like? Don't tell me Jalen Hurts isn't 10 times better than Brock Purdy. Don't tell me that we don't have A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert, DeAndre Swift. Like those right there, the weapons, like that's the best. Like what is the issue that I get it. Oh, the Niners, tough defense. You played all these teams. They had 10 days rest. Blah. Cowboys, okay, tough defense. Oh, they're still beat up. The Seahawks, where's your excuse for that? Because what? And yeah, I know Jalen Hurts was sick. And I saw something really cool today. And I was like, oh my God, this is literally what I've been saying. But I talk about the fact that context matters for every single game, every single play, every single thing we talk about. And you got to break it all down, man. And a lot of times it's just about getting that hot take out there, getting the clicks. And for me, it's not about that. And I saw Chris Long saying that if he could change one thing that, people understood, what would it be? And he said that. And I was like, dude, I want to find that clip and just send it to him. Like, bro, literally what? And I'm not saying there are good things. It's just, you got to understand all of it as a whole. So I'm with you. I don't think they're firing anybody, but a lot of changes to be made. So let's keep talking about it. Everybody think the Eagles should sit their starters out the last 3 games, creep by a month before the playoffs, healthy in the playoffs. No, they're not going to do that. You need to get things clicking. You want to get good because they've been really horrible. So no, that is the last thing you want to do. You actually need to get this team on the same page, clicking, and it's against lesser talent in your next 3 games. Giants, Cardinals, Giants again. So you should be able to do that, but division opponent in 2 out of those 3, right? Same team, but look, they're going to bring it. So they want to ruin our season. We have to go out there and really prove we are figuring things out. So they got to go out there and play. Should have kept TJ Edwards. Well, they're free agents. They get to sign where they want, and whether or not we offer them, as much as what they were getting other places. CJ Gardner-Johnson, that was just his agents messing that one up. That sucks. You guys know I liked him. I really wanted to bring him back, but look, it is what it is now. But TJ Edwards, yeah, he was another one. I love that kid, but hey, he got big money in Chicago, where he's from. Great, good for him. Yo, man, look, yeah, it was a tough one for sure. Definitely not enjoyable. Receivers can be blamed for the struggles. Well, I think the receivers have had their struggles. One thing for me, I don't understand, and we're going to break it down. We'll start with the offense here. So, Joe, appreciate you tuning in. Good questions there. But, the receivers here, I think, they're really good. A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, they're doing their thing. But beyond that, what we've talked about, you brought in Julio Jones. You have Quez Watkins back. What? But you have Olamide Zaccheaus. And apparently you just don't want to use him. And, man, that drives me insane because how excited I was to get him. I thought, perfect third receiver, guy that interchangeable. You could play inside, outside. Perfect with Devontae and AJ, but instead they want to use Quez. They want to use Julio more, and I don't understand it at this point. I understand if you want to use Quez at times. Oh, he's got speed. You want to take off the top. Okay, that's fine. But he needs to have Olamide's role where he's getting like 5 to 6, 7, 8 snaps, and Olamide gets the 20-some. Matter of fact, let's give the 20-some of Quez and the 20-some of Julio all to Olamide. Let's give him 40-some and then just give them 10 to just, split up between each other because I don't understand it. I really don't. So I think, again, this is more, what I talk about Nick Sirianni, the scheming, like, why are we doing this? Like the roster management. And I understand where some of you are going to go with it. I know somebody's going to say Rashad Penny. And look, I was excited about adding him. And then we traded for DeAndre Swift. And I think he fit what we do much better. But the thing of it is, Rashad Penny, obviously, they don't like what he brings to the table. He's running back 4, and they use the other 3. And I understand you're not going to suit, 4 of them. And they like Boston. They like Kenny G. They want Kenny G to be the guy so they don't have to pay DeAndre Swift. But, man, you would think, okay, well, let's see what Rashad Penny has. But that's kind of like they're just using him as an emergency because you saw Boston Scott out a couple games. Kenny G was out 1, I think. And he played, but, dude, he was back for kick return. We never even get a chance to see him do it. But he's back there a couple times, got a couple rushes, looked okay in like 1 or 2 of them. But it's like, dude, I don't know why we only run like a shotgun RPO. I don't know why you don't want to run stuff out of center. And, have more of those plays. But, I thought more play action would help things. I thought not just RPOs, like literally just doing that all the time. Oh, well, let's not forget the tush push. Throw that in there. But like, you can't be predictable, man, and have the same amount of plays. Like, teams are going to study you doing these things and be like, oh, well, that's what they're about to try to do. Like, I'm going to study your tendencies. That's what teams do. And, well, the wide receivers, I think when you're trying to force, you're only throwing to those top two guys so much. I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out what they're going to try to do. So I think that's on Sirianni, Johnson, the entire offensive staff. Why are we not figuring out how to get these guys, other guys, the ball? Because you have such good receivers. That opens things up for these other guys. And those other guys still get to eat because those other teams have to fear, oh, okay, this other guy's on the field. They're, they see that now. They're like, oh, they're not giving this mother effer the ball. I don't get it, man. But it kills me. And, the run game, it's such a weird thing. Yesterday we ran the ball a lot. First half, 22 rushes, 15 passes. I was like, okay, but don't get away from it. We did. At the end of the game, you need to run. It's like, I feel like I'm watching Andy Reid, if you guys are old enough to have watched him with the Eagles, where, as much as I love Big Red, there are times at the end of games, it's like, oh, okay, like we're up, just need to run the clock. Oh, Hail Mary, like, oh, 4th and inches, Hail Mary. Like, there are times where it drove me insane. So I don't understand what's going on. It's driving me kind of insane with just what the lack of creativity of the just scheming against other teams, like going against defenses and being like, hey, this is going to work. We have this kind of weapon. Hey, let's try to use our tight ends more. Let's use more 12, 13 personnel. I've talked about adding someone like Ertz because you don't have an F-type tight end that can really step up. Calcaterra hasn't done it. Albert O hasn't done it. I mean, they've tried. So I don't know, man. I know Ertz is older, but a few games into the season, he knows what he's doing. Him and Goddard together, I think that would help. But just, I mean, there's no other receiver beyond Goddard, Brown, and Smith. So, and the run game, dude, I wish you could just implement this stuff. Use Penny, use Swift, but they like Kenny G. They like Scott. It's not going to happen. And we've talked about it all year. I just don't understand it. And Hurts, he's still very talented. I love the dude. I don't understand why people are saying he's not the future. Why did we pay him? Like, damn, dude, like a few bad games. Like, have you seen Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, just this year even struggle, man? Like, I don't understand why, like, the jump and ship stuff, but hey, to each their own. Just for me, he has shown who he is, and he's shown that he still has time to develop and grow, and he still has things to learn, but he's already shown, man, in a very short amount of time. I think, again, it's hindered him that we try, just this basic stuff, but they're hindering Jalen Hurts and what he is capable of doing. And, like yesterday, doing things like, oh, yeah, like we know how talented he is and he can use his legs, but it's like, why are we doing that when he's sick? Like, why are we trying to get him hurt? And there was a lot of plays where he's running the ball. Like, why don't you just use the running backs? So it's like that, like I talk about, that number gets skewed there. So for the offense, it's like, okay, now we're running him. Oh my God, it's been killer all year because it's just really like, it doesn't make any sense why you struggle with, and the offensive line that we have, bro. Like, Opeta came in and again did well. And I think that, for a guy that is, got cut last year, was on the practice squad, it's like, we're figuring things out there. You have one of the best offensive lines in the game. Sure, they've struggled in pass protection, so maybe you can't say they're the best, but dude, they're one of the best. And why you're not running the ball with them, that's really where they shine. So I don't know, but the running back room is terrible, to be honest. Love Scott and Gainwell. Look, I think Swift, really talented, and he had some good games where people, like, oh, you got to use him. But he definitely had times yesterday, even where, and throughout the season, where it's like, dude, hit that hole, do this. Like, and I'm not trying to, bag on him, but it's like, there's a reason they're not always running with him, and they're using Kenny G. And Kenny G is a better pass protector. He's the best one we got. Boston Scott, tough runner. We like the kid, so he gets used. But I just don't understand. You would think Swift and Penny, thunder and lightning there, but that's just not how this offense works. And those other running backs fit with that RPO system that they run. So It is what it is. But you've got Penny here. And it's true. But here's the thing: why not just start using plays where it does? Now it's like, oh, well, then they're going to know what you're doing. It's like, well, you don't have to do it with just Penny. You could run single back, formations where you've got Kenny G back there. You've got Swift back there. I just don't understand why you don't open the playbook up. Like, you watch other teams and see what they do. Like, they're very creative, and I don't understand why we struggle to do that. And Shane Steichen, he was good, and having 2 years of him was very beneficial. Just like with Jonathan Gannon, where that next year it took that leap where we're breaking sack records, we're number one against the pass, interception. So I think that's why they didn't get rid of Desai. We'll see if they keep him. I don't know how they feel about this system, though. They might move on from it. You've got some really, really talented young pieces here that you need to build around. So you got to figure out if this system is what works, or, hey, man, you got to talk to your experts, figure it out. But look, Shane and Gannon got jobs because we talked about it in their second year. They did so well. They're going to get head coaching jobs, and it's unfortunate, but he and, Jalen Hurts there made a great connection, and Jalen really was able to just be himself in that second year because he had the system down. He knew what was expected, what he could do, and it helped him, tell other players what they needed to do. And I think that for me, it's unfortunate. It's another new system, but that stuff happens, man. And as he gets older and, he develops more and becomes more of a veteran, experienced guy, he will improve in that stuff. And for people to be jumping ship there, that's kind of wild to me. I think that this team, obviously it's upsetting what's going on here, but let's not lose hope here. So, let's take a look here before we talk about the defense. The NFC East standings, this sucks. Letting them get first back again. It's between us, but here's the great part, ladies and gentlemen. All we have to do is beat the Giants twice and the Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon coming to our house. Obviously, the Giants coming to our house once. We go to their house once. So, one more away game, 2 home games. Let's put the nail in the coffin to all these other teams, baby. Let's go win the NFC East. And, you see here, let's take a look at the NFC standings. Now, the Cowboys are number 2 because division leaders there. But if the Eagles can win the NFC East, they could be 2 or 3. But, these opponents here that you see, if you're at 3, you're facing the Vikings if it were to end today. So if the Eagles were there, you'd play the Vikings. If you're at 4, if you're at 5, you would play 4. So Buccaneers, all right, dude, come get some. So for me, whatever happens here, look, I understand. If they play like they did the last few weeks, we're doomed. But here's the great thing. This is the NFL, man. And if you think that teams have to be the same each and every week, that's just not how it goes. And we got to hope that Slay coming back is going to be beneficial whenever that may be. Avonte Maddox, he's hopeful to come back this week. Let's go. Let's get a little excited here because there are positive things. And I think that this team obviously knows they've got things to work on. And you've heard all the players calling them out. Got to be holding each other accountable, man. Because I'm not seeing the fire. I'm not seeing these people wanting to come out here and win. And I don't understand it, man. You've got such a great team. So time to band together, and no better time to do it than right at the end of the season, right before the playoffs. Let's go, man. And look, I understand it's a very small sliver of hope. And if you're playing like you have been, then, well, man, I don't know what else to tell you. So look, this team for me, they've got some hope here. And we've got to, I keep pushing this damn thing. We've got to really just figure some things out. And we talked about the offense here, but the defense, clearly a lot of issues going on. Desai gets moved up to the press box. You've got Patricia on the field, and I thought they did great throughout the first half. And you talk about Ricks, you talk about Ringo, did not allow a single reception. Only there was 3 targets for Ricks, 2 targets for Ringo. No completions, man. How beautiful it is. And, you saw this team obviously have struggles in the secondary for a while now, not just when they were losing, but we talk about maybe the young guys stepping in at some point and seeing what they've gotten. Well, Bradbury gets burnt. You see, it's just not looking great for him, man. And unfortunate, everybody wants to, not everybody, but a lot of people ask for, I want to play press man. I want to blitz all the time. And it's like, well, you see what happens when you build a team the way you did. And I think, honestly, this defense, the biggest issue is it's not working out with the personnel. Like, we've got a front that you feel should be able to get pressure, and for some reason they're not able to. And I've talked about maybe more of a rotation, not always having the starters out there. And some teams, benefit doing that. But it's like, I don't know, man. They've got to figure out whatever it is with the scheme, the way that they're being used. I thought Matt Patricia did some different things, seeing guys like Sweat and Graham being used inside, seeing things that we talk about that I thought Desai would do. I think that, this defense definitely relies on getting pressure from the front. You're not always blitzing. And, when you are, you're hoping that these guys hit the gaps. And you saw one game where Morrow did well for the linebacker position, and Cunningham's done well this year, but you've had injuries, you've had issues. And we talk about the importance of linebackers and safeties to this defense. And if you have all these injuries, oh man. And even when the guys are healthy, I don't know that it really is just, you got to put an emphasis on the draft next year, some free agents. We got to figure things out. But right now, where we stand, thank God we talk about Slay coming back because that's helpful. But you've got guys like Ringo and Ricks and Roby are here. So yeah, Bradbury had his struggles and he played atrocious, but you just got to hope the veteran can help out the young guys. We just have guys in the right position to do things. And you hope with Byard and Blankenship another week on the same page. They both played 100% of the snaps, I believe. And I think that these guys are finally clicking. And, it's all going to come together, you hope, by the playoffs. But you like the fact that you have lesser opponents here, but it's still the NFL. These guys have talent. And we're going to talk about, you got McBride, the tight end with the Cardinals. You've got talented young guys, Hyatt on the Giants. You've got guys that I think for me, we should be able to win, but we're going to talk about all of it. We'll break it down. Tomorrow's Behind Enemy Lines. You'll see everything about the Giants there and another Monday game. So everything's going to be moved back and have the same schedule as last week. But, I think that this defense, obviously with linebacker, you want Zach Cunningham back. Nicholas Morrow, I thought, played well in this game. You have, Shaq Leonard here, and I see people ragging on him. I saw this one play someone posted, but he actually fit his gap assignment. He did what he was supposed to do. And I don't understand. People just get lost as to what's going on, but he's getting, up to the speed with things, man. This is his second game with the Eagles. And, he saw like less than 50% of the snaps, but Morrow did well. You have guys like Bradbury. Maybe you use him more of a linebacker, that dime backer we talked about using Sidney Brown. And you got to see him doing that. Starting the game yesterday, I was like, I hope they're thinking about me out there. Because, talked about it before the draft, why I wanted someone like Sidney Brown for this defense. And look, he plays with a fire. I love the kid. I really do. But one thing I talked about before the draft was if you get him, you got to understand that it's going to take a little time with him. He's got to settle down a little bit. And sure enough, that is exactly what you are seeing here. And a lot of people, you got to get rid of this kid. He sucks. It's that we lost a game because of him. I saw people saying, and it's like, look, dude, he's not going to be all pro. And unfortunately, because of injury, he's been thrown in the fire a lot. And I think this team obviously knows that they've got some really good young pieces that will be good, but unfortunately right now they're going to have issues, man. These young guys got to learn on the fly. And you heard people calling for Ringo earlier this season. It's like, let's just simmer down a little bit and see where things go. But I think if this front could start getting pressure, maybe get more snaps for Brandon Graham. You had Nolan Smith, again, only like 9 snaps. Patrick Johnson had 8 snaps, but it's like, okay. And I know Nolan got a little banged up there, but maybe more of a rotation like we did last year. You saw we broke the record. 4 players with 10 plus sacks. Like we were using a rotation. The interior guys were getting in there. And, you have interior guys. You have Fletcher Cox leading the way with more snaps than, as usual, than Carter, than Davis, than Milton Williams. And it's like, and I love Fletch. And I just feel that he should have been like Brandon Graham, more of a depth piece where the younger guys, at this point in the season should be out here, I don't know, man. And I know that Carter is a rookie. I know that Jordan Davis is a second-year player. He missed time last year, but like I'm still very confident in the future. You got to build around that for the future. You've got 2 great pieces there, but everybody's got to just step it up, bro. And when you are getting pressure, then you got crappy linebacker play, so you're getting quick throws out. You've got crappy secondary play. Then when you get secondary playing well, then you've got the front not getting pressure, or dude. And each week, it's literally something else here, man. And I try to break that stuff down for you. And I wanted tonight to be, let's try to go over all of it, right? So I don't think that they're going to fire anyone. Maybe they do. But, like, I think, the demotion. And that's what I said for the past few weeks here. And you saw it. Look, they're not firing anyone. They're just, because that right there is waving the white flag. Like, you're telling everybody we're done for. They're not going to do that, even if they feel, and we feel they should. And changes needed to be made. The defense did it. You saw it was well before that last drive. And then, you talk about the offense. Something's got to give here, man. You got to figure it out, dude, because I don't know what they're doing. But we talked about it. You signed Penny because he's cheap. And at the time, it was just Kenny Gainwell and Boston Scott. So it made sense. But then you had DeAndre Swift become available when they drafted Jahmyr Gibbs. So we made the move, got him. And we kept him around because it cost absolutely nothing. And, he's an emergency guy. And we've had backs out a couple times. So he's had his chance. But yeah, I don't know. I talked about, remember in college, at San Diego State, he had 7 return touchdowns. I thought, we're going to bring him in. He's going to be a third running back. You're going to have kick return ability there. So I was like, okay, third running back, whatever. I told you, Kenny G and Swift were going to be in front of him. No way he was playing over them. Little did I know he was going to be inactive almost every damn week. So, but you signed him because at the time you didn't have anybody. Miles was leaving. So it made sense, and you're not going to just cut him. And a lot of people say, well, you just cut him. It's like, well, you need depth. I mean, people do miss games, and especially into the playoffs. How great would it be if they just open up the playbook and like, hey, we've been tricking you, and they finally start using him and run the damn ball down their throats, keep him fresh for the playoffs. We all know how he has an injury history, so maybe they just want to ground and pound in some of these crappy weather games. I'm not saying they're doing that because they do like these other backs. And I told you, my source told me this in the offseason. Don't expect to see him because they don't really like what they see. And, people, oh, no, they signed him. He's going to, dude, my source does not lie to me. And he gets way more intel than most people. So it's like, I'm just telling you that they see things we don't. And even if we don't agree, I mean, they're going to do what they want to do. So, team is not committed. Well, that's something I talked about. It doesn't look like they're holding each other accountable, being a brotherhood. We talked about that the past couple of weeks. So I love that he's saying that. You got to light a fire under people's ass. Like, he's trying, but when he's like in that mode, you can see him in pissed off. He's not going to give up. But if everyone else around him is giving up, he's going to get pissed off. So don't piss him off. Let's effing go. Let's ride. Let's go stomp the shit out of, and we're going to hear it from the media and the haters, and who cares? But once we destroy in these next 3 games, who cares? These teams suck. Well, you guys destroyed crappy teams and are apparently the best teams ever. So it's our turn. We've played nothing but hard teams. Seahawks, not that great, but they've got players that are good. No reason we should have lost that game. But, dude, Hurts needs to get under these guys' skin and let them know, like, look, dude, this is unacceptable. We are built to win a Super Bowl. Let's go and win this thing. And whether it's Howie dipping in and doing things with the receivers or whatever, we talked about on the offense and the defense, they have tried. Howie has tried with the linebackers, with the safeties. We have traded for people. We have signed people. We have drafted. But injuries and things have occurred where you have to just keep in mind, you can't foresee these things happening. You try to have depth there, and it is what it is, man. You just, what we have here, this is what we got, man. The only difference I think we can make is signing Zach Ertz. I think adding that F-type, receiving type tight end that I've talked about since the trade deadline is what this team could use. More 12 personnel, more just running the ball, but also creating the illusion that you're running the ball, and then being able to use the tight ends that can catch the ball. And Rashad Penny would do well in that, but hey, what do I know? So, but Hurts loved it, man. David kills me, and Sirianni, it's like offensive guy, dude. And look, I love Sirianni. Don't get me wrong. We made the playoffs his first 3 years. That's great. First Eagles coach to do that. Yeah, let's go. But I just don't understand why you're in charge here. You need to be like, okay, like all you guys are coming together. I know it's just not he and Brian Johnson. It's all of them. But it's like, you're in charge here. You need to, okay, we're just going to run the same 10 plays all the time. And, we'll have variations of, each formation we have here. And it's like, dude, dumb as hell. You're not tricking anybody. You're the same. And each year you have to understand that teams are going to be studying what you were doing. So you have to get creative. I just don't understand how you can't get creative with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Oh, you're running back to DeAndre Swift. I mean, you have Penny. You don't want to use him, but you got Kenny G, Boston Scott. You've got Dallas Goedert here. I mean, Jalen Hurts is your quarterback with this offensive line. I mean, you better use Kelsey and Lane Johnson while you've got him. What are we doing here? I understood that the defense may have issues. I thought the offense, though, we'd be able to, okay, that was the one where we promoted within, right? Okay, Brian Johnson, we're going to not too much change. Sure, Shane Sagan, I love him. But He got a head coaching job. You can't blame him. But what are we doing? Were you not paying attention last year? Like, okay, this worked, but how can we use the things that worked? This team, how can we grow, get better? That had to be something you couldn't be like, I'm just going to try to do stuff that worked last year, and we're just going to try to force the ball to these players. And look, I understand that there's certain plays where that's the read, and dude, a lot of times you have to get the fact that, bro, they take these shots and sometimes they work, and then it becomes the highlight reel. Oh, the greatest catch that this week, and everybody's excited. Oh, what a great throw, smart play by Hurt. Oh, he hit that window. But sometimes they don't catch it, or sometimes it's a little off. That stuff happens. We talked about context matters earlier in the show, so that very much so matters, dude. So look, I just don't. Sirianni, Howie, Laurie, that's really who it begins with. I don't think we're firing, these young coaches, these young coordinators that, even when people were calling for Steichen and Gannon's head, we talked about it then. You got to give it a little time here. Now, if it looks doom and gloom, and maybe, it's not just this size first year, this system has been here for a few years. So if they're ready to move on from that, I could understand that. But this offense, man, I don't understand how you can accept and know the weapons you have. You have Jalen Hurts at quarterback with that line and those weapons I just named. How in the I just don't get it, bro. You could, and I talked about before the season started, hopefully seeing some motion, seeing some things where it's like, imagine being a defense and you're like, oh God, we've got AJ and Devontae, you've got Alameda, and we talked about maybe using Quez because he's got that speed, he can take it off the top, yeah. Bro, and we talked about, using motion, using the backs, maybe a little bit of pony formations where you've got Swift and Penny or Swift and Kenny, and just, the excitement of what could be. And we talked about 12 personnel, 13 personnel with the guys we had. We brought in Jack Stoll. It's also, Dan Arnold with Jack Stoll and Calcaterra, and that didn't work. So you trade for Alberto, and yeah, I just felt like, oh, here it comes. We're going to try something different. And, you think like at the beginning of the season, okay, against certain teams, you want to try certain things. And you felt maybe that because they were trying a lot of the same things on defense, you're running a lot of stuff that worked. But I don't know, man, why it's easy for people to pick up, but it's not for them. Like your NFL coaches. And I'm not saying, anybody's smarter than them, but it's just like, some of this stuff is kind of you being stubborn and just, this is what's going to work. Like, no, dude, it's not. So make a push in the playoffs, or the Eagles aren't the only talented team. Well, that's it. And that's what we've been talking about here, throughout the show. And I think that it's just unacceptable from the fan base and everybody. We're pissed off because of the fact that we know how good this team is. We don't care that we lost all these other pieces because we added pieces. We have young pieces. We know what this offense looks like. You should be able to put up more points than any other team. The defense has done enough against teams like the Chiefs, against the Bills, against teams like the Dolphins and Chiefs, where you're allowing 7 points in the second half, for only one, between the two games. And it's like, I know they've got the talent. So, Bradbury's had good games this season, but then there's times where it's just like, oh, God help us. So a lot goes into it, man. And that's why we talk about, context of things. But, for me, they attacked Bradbury with Slay out, but the young guys stepped it up. So that's what they did. They put some of the better talent that could, they had their speedier guys. And look, man, Smith and Jigba, we know how talented he is. So nothing you could do about it now. And look, we got to just try to stay in our lane, focus on what we got to do. That's go win these next 3 games. And it starts with the effing Giants. And I'll be back tomorrow breaking it down, baby, talking about the New York Giants, Eagles Week 16 opponent. Getting to know everything you know about them, how the Eagles can go after this team and show they are learning from their mistakes. So we'll break everything down. You'll get to know their roster, look at their depth chart, what's going on with their team, where they stand with the stats, the rankings, everything about them. Hope you guys have been enjoying these shows throughout the season. Just hoping that the Eagles figure things out in time for the playoffs. So we've got a few weeks. Do not lose complete hope. I understand that there's pessimism. I get it, man, because that looked like complete crap. And the last few weeks have been crap. So I get it. But you saw the 49ers lose 3 games in a row. You've seen teams, they go through these little spells, man, where things just aren't going their way. You got to get pissed off. You got to get on the same page. You got to get more creative. Make the moves that need to happen. You got to start promoting, whatever's got to happen. Let's start floating. Let's start flying. Let's go birds. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got for you this evening. I hope you're trying to have the best week you possibly can. Less than a week away from Christmas. Hope you're enjoying the holidays. Hope you're ready. But man, a new year coming. Wild, wild, wild. So let's hope the Eagles give us a nice Christmas present. That would be very nice. But we need to see them go whoop their ass because yeah, it's a division game, but we're much better. We need to see improvement each and every week. So no resting now. Now you got to start clicking. Let's start whipping some ass out here and show that we still mean business. Maybe we get things rolling, headed in the playoffs, and everyone's sleeping on us. And boy, would I like that because this team is not the team to sleep on. Let's figure it out. Get things rolling here. Let's go into the playoffs. Surprise the world. Man, I saw a game when I was a kid where Eli Manning and the Giants snuck into the playoffs. Then they went on to beat the undefeated New England Patriots. So anything can happen in the NFL, especially when your quarterback's Jalen Hurts. So enough with the trade him. Enough with the he's not the future. Yeah, stop jumping ship and losing your minds. Yeah, it sucks, but it's on them to figure it out. Let's just support them. Hope they figure it out. Go into the playoffs. Win this damn thing still. If you're with me, you know what I want to hear down below. But until next time, I am Jimmy Smith, and this is On the Road to Victory. Got anything from this? Appreciate that like button. Appreciate the subscribing, all the things you're doing to support the channel. But I hope you have a great rest of your night. Stay safe out there. And as always, say it with me now. Go Birds!